Hey guys, welcome back to the Rebel Show. It is 2025 officially. I can't believe it. Time has just absolutely flown. I'm so glad you're here and tuning in. Today I'm going to be covering what you should stop doing in 2025 rather than focusing on New Year's resolutions, which I honestly despise because I don't know the statistics or anything, but it's a high percentage of people are already have quit on their New Year's resolutions by February if they even make it that far.
What's your plan for tomorrow? Are you a leader or will you follow? Are you a fighter or will you cower? It's our time to take back the power. What's your plan?
Today, I want to focus on what it is that you should stop doing in order to have success in 2025 and hit your goals. So I'm really big on setting goals and setting intentions, but I think we also need to be smart to set ourselves up for success and sustainability so that we're actually implementing these things, creating discipline, and making sure they're long lasting so you can achieve your goals. So I wrote a list of things that I personally have had to work through to give up and say no. I've talked about this in past podcast episodes of going through a season of no, and it's been actually monumental for our growth, our business growth, personal growth. It's been really, really cool to now be about a year into this and see the results from saying no and cutting things out rather than always just trying to add things in. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. So first thing is stop waiting for the perfect timing. There's never going to be perfect timing, you guys. At the time of filming this even, Ashley, who's behind the camera, she has fully taken over my YouTube channel, posting, doing the editing, filming, all of it. And this is probably the busiest season ever. We just came back from a trip from California. It's the holiday season, super busy, but we jumped in and are doing it. And guess what? We're getting it done. I could even go as far to say it's the exact opposite of perfect timing. But guess what? When you guys get started, when things aren't perfect, you create that discipline and you get it done. Then when things kind of even out and slow down a little bit, then it's even easier for you. So stop always waiting for that perfect timing, because there's always going to be something that we can find that is oh, it's not good timing because of this, or I wish this circumstance was better, this or that. And then you guys end up not ever doing anything. And I've fallen into this trap myself. So I'm talking from experience. I love what that's saying. I might butcher it a little bit, but it's shoot, ready, aim. So it's just go for it, shoot, and then you're going to, course correct. You might miss a few times. You re-aim. It's okay to course correct, but you guys need to just get started and start doing. Also, in the doing is where the lessons come. And then we can read and collect information as much as we want, but then a lot of times what you do, if you ever actually try to implement, then you realize oh, this is kind of different once you actually get into the trenches of it. So all that information, maybe you don't even end up using half of it, because once you actually get into it, you realize theory is so much different than hands-on doing. So this is one of the things that in a recent wax class I hosted in Orange County. If you want to join us on the next one, it's going to be in March. So I'm going to be back down in Orange County. But one of the things I was talking about is there's two different types of students that are going to be taking my class or my course, or just people that go to events in general. There's the information gatherers, and then there's actually the people who implement and execute on those things. Guess who the winners are? Guess who the ones who actually seek the results that they're looking for when they sign up for these events? It's the ones who implement. Now, it can be imperfect implementation, but it's still implementation instead of just continuing to gather information. It's what my coach calls tactical avoidance, because then it's you kind of psych yourself out to think oh, I'm doing something. I'm working towards my goal because I'm researching, but it's not going to do anything. For all the research in the world, it's not going to do anything unless you actually get in there and start doing. So that's one thing I want you guys to give up for 2025 is stop waiting for the perfect timing. The second thing I want you guys to give up in 2025 is letting fear control you and stop you from doing. The first anything that you do is just going to not be the prettiest, okay? It's okay. Like, stop letting fear control you and stop you. Do it scared. That's one of my favorite lines to say is like, just do it scared. And there's been so many things within my career that I've had to just like kind of not even give myself time to think on. And that's one thing that I really pride myself in is really fast action. I don't allow myself time, like too much time to think, because when I do, I psych myself out and then I end up letting fear control me and stopping me from doing things that can really excel my growth or be a great learning lesson. Guess what? You might fall on your face and it's okay. One of my other favorite things, I actually bought my daughter a sweatshirt that says, "But did you die?" So if it's not going to equate to death, then I think we're going to be all right. Everything that we go through, any hurdle, any obstacle, any failures are lessons, okay? And you're going to be better equipped for the next thing, whatever that thing is. So in 2025, we are going to be doing it scared, and we're not going to let fear control us, and we are going to be okay with being a beginner, being new, and not being very good at something. And guess what? Once you get past that first step, first of all, a lot of times we often look back and say, okay, it wasn't really that bad. You learn something, and then you get better. Now you've started on the path rather than just sitting at the trailhead watching everyone hike through. Okay, that was kind of a cool analogy. I don't know where I pulled that one from. All right. Next thing we're going to give up. Third thing we're giving up in 2025 is no more comparing yourself to others. There are too many times when I'm seeing people comparing their chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 12. Everyone gets started somewhere. So comparison truly is the thief of joy, and everyone moves at different speeds, are on different journeys, different paths, and you've really got to stop comparing yourself. So if what I want you, an actionable step for this one is I want you guys to do a social media purge. If there's anyone that sparks any sort of like negative feeling, and this isn't necessarily at the fault of the person on the other side of the screen, you need to just like do a self-evaluation of yourself and say, when I see this person pop up on my feed, does it inspire me or does it make me feel some sort of like feeling of inadequacy or feeling like maybe I'm behind and it doesn't inspire growth? Again, this doesn't mean it's the fault of the person on the other side of the screen. Then maybe you need a purge. You need to be super intentional about what you are consuming, okay? I'm getting a little off topic, but it's like top of mind right now. We are the sum of the top 5 people that we spend the majority of our time around, but this also, you guys, can include our virtual circle as well. So it's really important what you're consuming, who you're spending time with, both in person and virtually online, and you're having communications back and forth with, that they are positive influence and someone who inspires growth in you. So I really need you guys to be actionable on this. This is one thing that you can implement today. When you have about 20 minutes, go ahead and go through everyone you're following and just click that unfollow button on anything that does not inspire growth or anything or anyone who is not helping you get closer to your goal. So number 3, we're going to stop comparing ourselves to others. Quick interruption to the show. I wanted to make sure that you are aware of my free 6-week hard waxing 101 course that I have put out for waxers to gain confidence in the treatment room, no matter where it is in your waxing career that you are at. You will also receive a certificate of completion once you complete the course. So visit us online, lashwaxoc.com, and you will click the training tab. Now back to the show. Number 4. We're going to stop with the I don't have time. We have time, okay? We do. It's where are we prioritizing our time? So, for example, maybe going out to dinner. When you say, I want to get healthy this year, and then you're going out to dinner and spending an hour and a half, 2 hours at dinner, I can meal prep for a full week in 2 hours. Now, it's not as fun. I know going to a restaurant is nice. You're being waited on, but it's like, how bad do you want it? That's a question I would ask you and want you to seriously consider for yourself is how bad do you really want it? Because I think a lot of times we want the result, but we're envious of people's results, but we're not always envious of the journey that it took them to get there. And this is really like prevalent in my life now with our health and our weight loss journey. And I've felt myself slip off track a little bit there. And it's like, okay, but how bad do you want it? Because the people who have the results that you want, these are the things that they do on a daily basis. And it's like, you're not doing that. And I'm talking to myself right now. So it's like having the discipline and the self-awareness to say, okay, I do have time, but I'm just not prioritizing it. So how bad do you really want it? So I would challenge you to really like think hard on that and then make sure that you're prioritizing correctly for your goals as well. So go ahead and audit your schedule. One thing that you can do is maybe for a week, okay, that might be a lot to start. I want you guys for at least one full day, every 15 minutes, and I know this is a lot, but again, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want to achieve your goals? Every 15 minutes, write down what you are doing so that you're time blocking and be honest. Don't even change your schedule for now. Just go ahead and write it down. This 15 minutes I was scrolling on TikTok, scrolling on Instagram, watching TV, got up and made a sandwich. I don't know, whatever. I took clients that like went to the bathroom. Write down your schedule so that you can look back and audit and you'll be like, oh, I actually wasted like 3 hours a day. I think that's actually the average time that people spend on social media is 3 hours a day. There's your time right there, whether you want to get into the gym, meal prep, maybe be working on your business, working on marketing materials, working on shooting some content to help you gain new clients. We're not going to be saying, I don't have time anymore. We're going to be self-aware, go ahead and do those audits, and then see where we need to reprioritize. Number 5, we're no longer going to make excuses. I hear all the excuses in the world. One of the things lately has been with my wax class. So I'm teaching again in Southern California, and people are like, oh, I wish I could come to you. And I'm like, well, why can't you? And they're like, well, I'm 6 hours away. Well, how bad do you want this? Like, I'm traveling 15 hours to get down to Southern California, or if I fly, it's a pretty quick little trip, but it's like, you guys can prioritize that as well. You can, I'm going to tons of different events and training, and it's not always easy. It's hard. 3 children, so childcare, all of our animals, like the flights or the driving. And I understand finances can be there too, but then go ahead and start saving now. Like, don't go through Starbucks daily, like make coffee at home, put money aside. The ROI that you guys will get, and I'm not just trying to promote my wax class. There's other educational events and networking events or trade shows or other things that can help boost your business, boost your career, help provide further education, which in turn is going to help you gain more clients. Like, you have to look at the ROI and just stop making those excuses. There's always, when there's a will, there's a way. So just being intentional about moving in the direction, and then just being honest too, though. Like, that's what we went to an event not too long ago down in Southern California, and there was a beach workout in the morning, and I did not go. And when the lady came up to me and talked to me, actually, Eva, you guys have seen her on my podcast before. She's like, where were you? I was waiting for you. And I just straight up told her, no excuses. I just didn't go. So like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, okay. And these are the excuses I internally had. Well, I didn't want to get sand in my hair and then have to go back to the hotel and wash my hair so that I can show up to the event and look cute. Like, technically, those are all just excuses. It's like, to be honest, and I didn't really want to go, and I didn't go. So we don't need to sit here and make a bunch of excuses. I think that's a really bad habit that a lot of us need to break, and something that I've been really focusing myself on really trying to break. Because that's kind of my immediate reaction is just to kind of go to all the reasons why I couldn't. But it's like, there's a lot of reasons why you also can. Okay. Next one, number 6, stop overthinking everything. This kind of goes in hand with continuing to information gather, but we definitely can tend to overthink things. I fall into this as well. So just stop overthinking. In my wax class, it was really funny. We were going over like the name field because I was going over all the social media stuff of optimizing your bio and the name field. And I was telling them like it's so important to have locational tags. So I had one student who was like a blast to have in class. She was so funny, so much energy. Just like, it was like, I don't know, it's contagious. I really enjoyed having her. But she got so stuck on the locational. She's like, do I put CA? Do I put California? Do I put a capital C, capital A, a capital C, lowercase a? I'm like, okay, the end results are going to be the same. Like, let's just execute on it and move to the next thing. And you can always like change it later. So I just found that as a funny kind of example of how we can all tend to really, really overthink things, which then can keep us from actually taking action. And again, action is where you're going to receive results. So in 2025, we are going to stop being overthinkers and we're going to be doers. Okay, this next one, number 7. This is something that has been so difficult. Probably it's getting easier, but this was really difficult at the beginning of this journey of us really going all in on ourselves, all in on our business, all in on our mindset and personal development and our growth, is not hanging around negative people, you guys. This goes in hand again with the whole, you are the sum of the top 5 people that you hang around. So really take an audit. I want you guys to sit down and think and write down the names of the top 5 people that you're spending the majority of your time. If you're hanging around 5 heavy drinkers, you're going to be the 6th. If you're hanging around 5 very negative, pessimistic, I almost said optimistic. Hang around optimistic people. We want that. 5 like very like negative, pessimistic people, you're going to be the 6th one. So if you take the sum of all their income, you're going to be an average of those 5. So it's super, super important that you guys cut out any negative people. Now, this can be so difficult, especially if it's friends or family or people that you've had a long-standing relationship with. And this is something that my coach has really like helped mentor us through, because it was difficult, especially when it comes to like certain family members. But you have 2 options, because I completely understand there's some people you can't just completely X them out of your life. So you have 2 options when it comes to these people. You can either edit or eliminate. So there's some people who we have just completely eliminated from our lives. Everyone comes into your life for a reason, or a season, or a lifetime. So some people, we recognize that they were a season. We also recognize that spending so much time with them, we became very, very unhealthy people, and it was time to eliminate those relationships. Also, these were people who claimed to be friends, but then the moment they walk into another room, they're talking down on us, and they're not protecting our names in other rooms. They were actually very much gossipers and things like that. You know what negative people do. And I know names popped in your head when I said this. So I challenge you to really like work towards editing and eliminating those relationships. Now, editing could be like maybe with certain family members, you just don't spend quite as much time, or you edit what it is that you talk to them about. Some people just don't understand the dreamer mentality, or like the ambition that you have as an entrepreneur and the hopes and dreams that you have for your business. They just haven't done it or seen it done before. They don't have that for themselves. So you need to be really careful about who you talk to about certain things. So maybe with certain family members, you just don't bring up your business. You don't bring up your future goals and aspirations, because in their defense, it's just, again, it's something they've never seen done or have done themselves. So it's just hard for them to wrap their minds around that. And then beyond that, to be like encouraging to you, oftentimes they actually talk it down, because they're trying to, in some way, it doesn't seem like it, but they're trying to like protect you. They don't want you to fail. They want you to make sure that, bills are being paid and you're being taken care of. And I hope my grandpa's okay with sharing this, but at one point he was that for me when I let him know that I got fired yet again from European Wax Center, and I was going to open up my own business. Well, actually, that's the reason I got fired, because I opened up my own business before leaving European Wax Center. I was not taking waxing clients. So I don't want anyone come for me for non-compete BS, but I was doing microblading, a whole other story. Anyways, I started my own business because I needed to be making more of an income. I had a third baby on the way, got fired, told my grandpa. I told him that now that I'm not going to be working there anymore. Now I can be taking waxing clients. Here's the numbers I was bringing in for European Wax Center, and I know I can bring that in for myself. And he was just like, so like, are you sure this is like, I think you had a really good career there. It was, you had stability and like a steady paycheck, and like you were doing really well, working up the ranks. Like, are you sure? And he was really nervous and really trying to talk me into closing down the business and going back and asking for my job back for a third time at that European Wax Center. And it was something that it was hard, but like for me though, when I'm kind of fueled on doubt. So I was like, bet, let's go. So I like built my business so quickly, and now he's in his retirement home or center or whatever. He's not like in like a home, but in their community. That's why I should have called it retirement community. He's like singing our praises to all of his friends. So people don't always do this, especially family, from a place of negativity, really, of trying to tear you down. They just want to make sure you're good and you're okay. So you may need to edit the conversations that you're having with people as well. So, but really, you need to get into new rooms. That's something that Chance and I have been really focusing on this past year and a half with working with our business coach. We are entering rooms where I feel like majorly the low man on the totem pole, and we are. And it's great because it forces growth, and it forces us to expand our minds to what is possible and what is out there that we can achieve if we take the right actionable steps and follow. Success leaves clues. So follow those clues, let people inspire you, and then imitate the things that it is that they do. Not imitate their product or their service but imitate what are their daily disciplines that they do. And one of them I can guarantee is that any successful person you go and talk to at some point in their journey, they had to cut out negative people and they had to edit relationships with certain people. So that is something that we are going to stop doing, is hanging around and spending so much time and giving so much energy to negative people. All right. This is another big one, and something that we are currently actively doing our best to take action on. And it's really, really hard, is we need to stop avoiding those hard conversations. I know you know what I'm talking about. If there's a hard conversation you need to have with a friend, or maybe an employee, or maybe a coworker, maybe a family member, stop avoiding those hard conversations. That's something that we're really working on, and it's not easy, okay? But tackling these issues head on is going to really help you to find a resolution first of all, and then build a much stronger foundation. A lot of time, people who have a problem with you starting to create boundaries are the ones who benefited from you not having any. And I'm really starting to see them like, we tend to give a lot up front, and then it gets used and abused, and we try to take it away. And that does not feel very good. So we are actively, first of all, not continuing to make that same mistake. What's that saying? It's like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. Well, we've made that same mistake over and over, and we're getting the same negative results from it. So first of all, making sure that you don't continue that, but have those hard conversations. I know there's probably one that popped in mind. Just tackle it head on. Oftentimes it's not even as bad as you think it's going to be, or maybe it kind of is and it sucks, but like at least then you're on the other end of it, and it's not a weight that's weighing on you every single day. And oftentimes that person that you needed to have that hard conversation with, they feel some sort of relief that it's like been dealt with now, and now it's in the past, and you guys can move on from it. So that's one thing that I can say I'm actively going to be doing in 2025, is not avoiding the hard conversations that need to be had. All right, number 9, stop trying to do everything alone. It's okay to reach out for help. It's okay if you don't have someone that you can reach out to for help, I highly recommend considering hiring a mentor or coach. That's been really huge for our growth this past year and a half, with being able to reach out to Bedros and someone who's been there, done that, and he's just way further ahead than us. So it's so nice. But also with building our team, and this might apply differently to you guys if you are solo and you're newer to your career. Maybe your first hire needs to be a bookkeeper. Highly recommend Adriana with Budget Be Financial. I know you guys have heard me talk about her, but just stop trying to do everything alone. Find a community, get plugged in, ask for help where needed, and stop trying to be Superwoman. That's what I've tried to do for so long. The title CEO really meant Chief Everything Officer, because I was just trying to do everything. But guess what? When you try to do everything, then you kind of half-ass it all, and then it's just it's not beneficial for yourself. It's not beneficial for your family. It's not beneficial for your business. So don't be afraid to ask for help. So one thing we're going to stop doing is doing it alone, even if it means, though, you guys just getting plugged into a community of like-minded individuals that are on the same growth path and have the same goals as you. So at least you have someone, as humans, we crave community. We are like a herd animal. So we do need to be around other people. So find your community for sure. I highly, highly recommend that. All right. Next one, number 10, is going to be stop dwelling on past failures. That's one thing we're going to stop doing in 2025, because oftentimes, first of all, that doesn't serve us at all, and it can stop you from taking the next step that could be that one breakthrough. Oftentimes, you guys, we're like one person away or one event or one action away from that big breakthrough. But if we look back and say, for example, when I was renting my first treatment room and then between my first treatment room and then moving to my location on PCH, my first storefront, I actually rented elsewhere. Got completely screwed. This lady stole all my money. We moved in and out of that location within 24 hours. So within 24 hours, we moved in and out of this location. Now, I could have said, okay, that was a huge failure at that time. The money she took from us, it might as well have been $10,000. We were living in a trailer at that point. We were picking up food from, food or soup kitchens or whatever the groceries from churches. We were really we were in it. At the same time, though, our business was booming. It was so dang expensive to be living in Orange County, California. Anyways, moved in there, and then she completely screwed us, took that. That was the last of our savings. I had to move back to the original treatment room, which thank goodness for my landlord there. She's an absolute saint. I love her. I still keep in contact with her to this day. But then I could have let that failure stop me from ever continuing to look for another location. And there's a lot that happened in between this, but I chalked that up as a learning lesson. I knew going forward lease it, what to look for in the lease, what conversations, what questions to ask, what red flags to look for, so that I would know okay, if these red flags, because I looked back on it, I'm like, oh wait, these were some solid red flags that I just ignored because I was really excited about the location, and I painted it in my head as being this really huge, it would going to be super beneficial to my business and the growth of it. But there was definitely red flags that I ignored. So I looked at all that, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to learn from this. I'm not going to let it stop me. There was actually another location that I also almost made a huge mistake, signing a commercial lease for a 3-year lease without first looking at the zoning laws. So that was another big failure that turned into a learning lesson. But then it led me to my storefront salon on PCH, which was quite literally the best location, served me so well, was affordable. The parking was great. My clients loved it. It was fantastic. And we grew so much. We were able to get into an apartment, move out of the trailer. And it's if I would have dwelled on those past 2 failures that were pretty big ones, I could have made that. I could have went back to that original treatment room, stayed stagnant without any growth, stayed in that trailer for many more years, and just been really struggling. So don't dwell on past failures. Ask yourself, what did this teach me? What can I learn from this? And how can I do better on the next endeavor of whatever it is? So that is another thing we are going to stop doing in 2025. All right. Next, we are going to stop ignoring our health. I remember walking into Pedro's office for our first half-day session with him, and we were already focusing on our health and fitness because I had started listening to his podcast. I felt like I got stuck in my growth, and I kind of hit this glass ceiling, and I was like, what? I need to get back to the basics. Like when I was new entrepreneur, or even just new in my career and knew that I had like bigger hopes and dreams than just, being an employee at European Wax Center, I would listen to podcasts. I would read the personal development books. And I really fell off of that because I had some level of success, and I think I let my ego and it kind of like got to my head. I'm like, oh, I've got this figured out now. I'm so fancy. And I quickly was humbled by that. So I was like, all right, it's time. First of all, self-awareness. I'm like, all right, you need to slow your roll, Bree, and get back to the basics. So that's when I discovered Bedros' podcast and started listening to him. So I was focusing on my health and fitness, and I saw the results of it. Like it goes hand in your health and the health of your business and the health of your family all go hand in hand. But then I remember walking into his office. He's like, okay, congratulations on whatever we were at, like 30 pounds, 40 pounds. He's like, but I really need you to go all in and tighten this up. And we're like, aye, Captain, I will do that. And Chance and I just got so laser focused on our nutrition. Now, this isn't all for the aesthetics reasons, you guys. It's like the mental clarity, the confidence, the ability to just... the confidence really in showing up in just different ways, the confidence to get into new rooms, get around new people who help expand my mind and promote growth in me was just absolutely huge. So it's not just about losing weight and looking a certain way. It's about how you feel too. And I can tell you some of my best ideas have come to me when I'm at the gym, because we all seek those quick dopamine hits, but they're fleeting. They're not long lasting at all. So before I was seeking dopamine hits through eating like crap or drinking or smoking weed. And now, you can actually gain those dopamine hits by also doing healthy things, and it's longer lasting by choosing to say no to the crap food and eating your meal prep instead, or going to the gym, or reading that book instead of doom scrolling. Like those are also dopamine hits that are longer lasting and produce better results. So we're going to stop ignoring our health and going to start taking that seriously. Even if I have a walking pad here in my office, maybe you guys put a walking pad in your treatment room and you walk for 20 minutes a day. I guarantee you are going to get results and see benefits from that. So really important. Also prioritizing sleep, which was something that was really difficult for me. I've always had a really hard time sleeping, but once I really prioritized this as well, it was a game changer. So I go to bed and wake up pretty much the same time daily. Sometimes when travel and things or family visiting, it can kind of fluctuate, but I make sure I'm getting at least 7 hours. That's what I'm working with a coach. Her name is Snez. She's awesome if you guys want to check her out. But she has me prioritizing 7 hours of sleep. So one of the ways that I've done that too is blue light blockers at night. The screens when we're watching TV or our phones, it actually messes up your like circadian rhythm. It could be hard to fall asleep. So blue light blockers have been great. Taking my magnesium glycinate at night has been really helpful. And then honestly, I gave up like smoking weed, which I feel weird to be like so open about this, but I am in Oregon and it's very much an Oregon thing. Anyways, I gave up that, and I used to use that as a crutch of like, but I can't sleep. So when I smoke, I sleep better. I've now noticed I sleep much better and stay asleep longer from giving that up. That's the biggest thing. Yes, it would help me fall asleep, but it's the staying asleep. So prioritize your health, okay, guys? Go get your blood work done if you need to. Start prioritizing and focusing on the things that you know you need to. At one point I was bleeding out and had blood clots coming from my nose because I had gained so much weight. My blood pressure was through the roof. I literally almost had a stroke. The doctors couldn't believe that with how high my blood pressure was and the clots that were coming out for a solid hour, they could not believe that I did not have a stroke. So I was like so close, and that was a huge wake-up call. You guys, don't wait till you have to have these crazy life-altering wake-up calls. Get on top of your health. And also, if you have kids, we owe it to them as well. All right, that's enough about that. I have two more for you guys. This next one, and something that I still kind of struggle with a little bit, but I have been really focusing on this past year and a half, is, and why I call this my season of no, is not overcommitting. So you really have to ask yourself, is like, does this help push me closer to my goals? So I would say yes to like everything. And it can be really, really, really hard to say no. Like even today, I had to send a tough email of something that I overcommitted. I promised to get a certain piece of content back by a certain time, and we just came back from traveling. We have a lot of our own work for our business to be doing, and I overcommitted on that, and then I ended up having to reach out and apologize that I wasn't going to be able to get it done. But I should have looked ahead and known enough, okay, you're going to be coming back from California. You have all this long list of things that you need to do for your own business, like stop overcommitting. So that's one thing I'm still kind of struggling with, but I've also been really good about too, especially in my personal life, because I would want to say yes to everything, every birthday party, every dinner, anything really, any event, I would always say yes, and it just like would get in the way. But I prepped my friends and family with this to let them know, like, this doesn't mean I don't love you guys. It's just I am so laser focused. I have these goals that are going to benefit all of us, and like I really have to have singularity of focus. I'm going to have to be saying no to a lot of like extracurricular things. Not always easy, but overcommitting was a big problem for me, and something that I needed to give up and continue to kind of check myself on. All right. Last but not least is we really need to stop focusing only on the outcomes. The person you become during the journey is like even more special and amazing than the outcome itself. Oftentimes we find that once we get to that outcome, we have this like peak of a high. We're like, oh my gosh, yes, I did it. And it slowly fades. And then we're like on to the next mountain or peak to climb. I know that this is true for myself. But I think we over romanticize the outcome, and we forget to enjoy the journey and enjoy the person that we become along the journey on our way and our path to that outcome. So make sure that you are not only obsessing over the goal, and that you are just enjoying the process as well. And this will also help you guys avoid that burnout that often comes when you're chasing your goals too. So that's the last thing that we are going to give up in 2025. We're going to focus on the journey. I hope 2025 is a great journey for you guys. I hope that you become your best self in 2025. And I hope that you did not just listen to this episode to gather more information, but that you at least execute. Pick 3, okay? I know I went over quite a few things. Pick 3 and go all in and execute on them. Now, that doesn't mean to execute them like full force, gung-ho, all in one day. I want you guys to take little bites off of it and stay consistent every single day, because it's the consistency over time that's going to lead to the results. Anyways, all right. Kill it, you guys. Get after it. Take those actions, okay? Stay consistent, stay disciplined, create discipline, stop seeking motivation. That's another thing. I'm going to add one last little bonus to you guys. But all right, I hope you guys found value from this. Thank you for tuning in. I can't wait to see what 2025 brings to all of you. Reach out to me. I've had a lot of people DM me on Instagram. They're like, I'm so sorry for bothering you. I'm so sorry for messaging. I'm like, don't be sorry. I love this. I could talk about this stuff all day. I want to hear your guys' wins. I want to hear how any of this has helped you guys. Those of you who actually implement it, share it with me. Reach out to me. I'm here for you. If there's anything you want me to cover in 2025 on my podcast, reach out to me as well, and we will make sure to get that done. Like, share, subscribe, all my YouTube peeps. If you're listening to this on podcast, please leave a review. That would be amazing. I would be so appreciative. All right, and you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll see you back next week.